In the vast silence of the Arabian desert, there stands a monument that has captured the hearts of millions, a sacred sanctuary that is as ancient as time itself. The Holy Kaaba, known as the House of Allah, rises in the center of the great city of Mecca, drawing believers from every corner of the earth. Its story is one of divine command, humble beginnings, and an enduring legacy that continues to inspire faith and devotion. This is the story of the Holy Kaaba, a tale that begins in the depths of history and resonates in every prayer, every journey of pilgrimage, and every act of worship. Long before the sands of Mecca became the stage for the annual gathering of millions, the Kaaba was established as the first house of worship, a symbol of the unity between humanity and its creator. According to Islamic tradition, the origins of the Kaaba are intertwined with the lives of Prophet Ibrahim, Abraham, and his beloved son Ismail. When Allah commanded Ibrahim to leave his wife Hajar and his infant son Ismail in the barren valley of Mecca, he provided them not only with a test of faith, but also with a promise of divine mercy and guidance. In obedience to Allah's command, Ibrahim and Ismail set out to build a sanctuary that would become a focal point for the spiritual journey of mankind. As the Quran reminds us, and mention when we designated the house, the Kaaba, as a place of return for the people and a place of security. Quran 2:125. This verse encapsulates the belief that the Kaaba is not merely a building, but a sanctuary imbued with divine protection and mercy. The construction of the Kaaba was no ordinary architectural feat. In a time when the desert was ruled by the harshness of the elements and the isolation of its barren expanses, Ibrahim and Ismail built the structure with simple tools and immense faith. It is said that they raised the foundations with humble materials, a blend of stone and earth, and their hearts were filled with trust in Allah's promise. They prayed fervently for guidance and strength, and in return, Allah revealed the sacred design and purpose of the building. This divine blueprint was a reminder of humanity's humble origins and its eternal connection to the divine. The Kaaba, with its square shape and cuboid form, was constructed in a manner that reflected both simplicity and profound spiritual significance. Its corners and edges speak of order and unity, while its draped covering, the kiswa, is a testament to the beauty and reverence that the faithful bestow upon it. Many scholars and historians emphasize that the Kaaba was the first structure built solely for the purpose of worship. As narrated in several hadiths, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, declared, "The Kaaba is the first house built for mankind." Sahih Bukhari. Such narrations highlight not only the antiquity of the structure, but also its unparalleled significance in the spiritual heritage of Islam. The legacy of Ibrahim and Ismail lives on in every stone of the Kaaba, a constant reminder that faith is built upon a foundation of trust, sacrifice, and divine guidance. Their hands, calloused by labor and softened by prayer, shaped a sanctuary that would, for generations to come, become the focal point of the Islamic world. As the centuries passed, the Kaaba witnessed numerous transformations, both physical and spiritual. Many rulers, scholars, and faithful servants of Allah sought to preserve and honor the sacred edifice. It is recorded in historical texts that the Kaaba was rebuilt and renovated several times, each restoration undertaken with great care and deep reverence for its divine origins. During the early Islamic period, the structure became a symbol of unity for the growing Muslim community. In the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Kaaba was not only the direction, Qibla, towards which the faithful prayed, but also a center of social and religious life. The Prophet himself led prayers around the Kaaba, and his companions recounted stories of miracles and blessings associated with the holy site. In one famous narration, it is reported that the Prophet said, "Whoever visits the Kaaba with sincerity in his heart will return home with his sins forgiven." Sahih Muslim. Such hadiths are a constant reminder that the Kaaba is much more than a physical structure. It is a living symbol of Allah's mercy and an eternal source of spiritual rejuvenation. The physical form of the Kaaba has undergone many changes over the ages, yet its spiritual essence has remained unchanged. Early Muslims maintained that the Kaaba was a simple cuboid structure, built from rough stones and humble materials that the desert itself had provided. Over time, as Mecca grew into a bustling center of trade and civilization, the Kaaba was gradually adorned with embellishments and calligraphic art that reflected the deep religious sentiments of the community. The kiswa, the silk covering draped over the Kaaba, is replaced each year with a new piece of cloth embroidered with verses from the Quran. One of the most famous verses inscribed on the kiswa is Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, a constant reminder of Allah's omnipresent compassion and guidance. These transformations serve as a bridge between the ancient origins of the structure and its modern manifestation, a testament to the unchanging nature of divine love amid the shifting sands of time. Throughout its long history, many individuals have taken responsibility for preserving the sanctity of the Kaaba. In the early days, the custodians of the Kaaba were the tribes of Quraysh, who were entrusted with the care of the holy sanctuary. Their deep respect for the site and their commitment to its upkeep laid the groundwork for the Kaaba's revered status in Islamic tradition. With the advent of Islam, the responsibility for the Kaaba was further institutionalized, with successive Islamic leaders ensuring that the holy structure was maintained in accordance with divine guidelines. Historical records describe how, during various periods of political and social change, the Kaaba was sometimes subjected to external forces, yet the Muslim community always rallied to restore and protect it. The resilience and devotion of those entrusted with its care is a powerful reminder that the Kaaba is a communal heritage, one that belongs to all believers, and serves as a symbol of their shared identity and collective faith. The story of the Kaaba is not merely a historical account of an ancient building. It is also a narrative of spiritual evolution. The Kaaba has been a silent witness to the changing tides of history, a witness to the rise and fall of empires, the spread of Islamic civilization, and the enduring power of faith. For every traveler who has journeyed to Mecca, the Kaaba offers a profound sense of connection to the past. It stands as a testament to the enduring promise that no matter how great the challenges may be, Allah's mercy and guidance remain ever present. In the Quran, Allah speaks of the sanctity of the Kaaba. Indeed, the first house of worship established for mankind was that at Bakka, blessed and a guidance for the worlds. Quran 396. This verse not only affirms the ancient origins of the Kaaba, but also highlights its universal significance as a beacon of guidance and hope for all of humanity. Today, the Kaaba is at the heart of the Islamic world. Every year, millions of Muslims from around the globe embark on the sacred journey of Hajj, a pilgrimage that brings them to the Kaaba in a profound act of faith and submission to Allah. For many, the experience of standing before the Kaaba is deeply transformative, a moment of reflection, humility, and renewal. The rituals performed during Hajj, from the tawaf, circumambulation, to the sa'i, walking between the hills of Safa and Marwa, are imbued with rich symbolism and historical resonance. They serve as a living link to the time of Ibrahim, Hajar, and Ismail, a reminder that the divine story of the Kaaba continues to shape the lives of believers today. One hadith narrates, "When you see the Kaaba, Then ask yourself, what can I do to please Allah? And then proceed with your heart filled with hope and fear of His Majesty. Jami at-Tirmidhi. Such teachings emphasize that the Kaaba is not only a relic of the past but also a guide for the future, inspiring every Muslim to live a life of piety, gratitude, and service. The journey of the Kaaba from its humble beginnings in the arid desert to its present status as the spiritual nucleus of Islam is a story of transformation and divine intervention. It began with the pure and unwavering faith of a prophet and his son, who, in their obedience to Allah, built a structure that would forever alter the course of history. Their legacy is etched in every stone of the Kaaba, a perpetual reminder of the power of trust in Allah's plan. As the Muslim community grew, so did the reverence for the Kaaba. It became a symbol of unity and a focus for the collective prayers of billions of believers. In every corner of the world, when a Muslim faces the Kaaba during prayer, they are reminded of their shared heritage, their connection to the early pioneers of faith, and the divine promise that binds them together as one ummah. The evolution of the Kaaba over time is marked by periods of reconstruction and restoration, each chapter adding layers of meaning and beauty to the ancient structure. After the advent of Islam, the Kaaba was cleansed of the idols and pagan symbols that had accumulated over the centuries. Under the leadership of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the Kaaba was restored to its original purpose as the one and only house of worship dedicated solely to Allah. This cleansing of the Kaaba was not just a physical act. It was a spiritual reawakening that signified the triumph of monotheism over the forces of idolatry. The Prophet is reported to have said, "The Kaaba is the sanctuary of Allah, a place where His mercy descends and a symbol of the unity of the believers." Sahih Bukhari. His words continue to inspire Muslims to treat the Kaaba with the utmost respect and reverence, recognizing it as a gift from Allah that has guided humanity since time immemorial. In the centuries that followed, the Kaaba continued to be a focal point for Islamic scholarship and spirituality. Scholars, poets, and mystics found in its walls a source of endless inspiration and a living embodiment of divine love. They wrote verses and composed songs in praise of the Kaaba, extolling its virtues and recounting the miracles that had been witnessed around it. One such narration found in classical Islamic literature tells of how the Kaaba was a place where the divine presence was felt more deeply than anywhere else, a place where the soul could find solace and the heart could be uplifted by the remembrance of Allah. This rich tapestry of literary and spiritual traditions has helped to preserve the story of the Kaaba for future generations, ensuring that its legacy is passed on as a beacon of hope, unity, and eternal faith. Even as the modern world has evolved with new technologies and rapidly changing societies, the sanctity of the Kaaba remains untouched. Today, the holy sanctuary is cared for by dedicated custodians and government authorities who work tirelessly to maintain its pristine condition. The structure has been renovated and expanded over the years, yet every change is made with the utmost respect for its historical and spiritual significance. The modern Kaaba still retains its ancient charm, a simple yet majestic cube of stone draped in the rich tapestry of history and faith. It stands as a bridge between the past and the present, a reminder that while the world may change, the divine promise encapsulated in the Kaaba endures. For the millions of Muslims who visit Mecca each year, the sight of the Kaaba is a moment of deep emotional resonance. Pilgrims gather in throngs, their hearts beating in unison as they circle the sacred building in a display of collective devotion. Every step taken during the circumambulation, every prayer uttered in its shadow, is imbued with centuries of tradition and a profound sense of connection to the divine. The Kaaba's story is recounted not only in textbooks and sermons, but also in the personal memories of those who have experienced its overwhelming presence. It is a story that speaks to the human longing for meaning, for connection, and for a glimpse of the eternal in the midst of a transient world. The beauty of the Kaaba lies not only in its physical form, but also in the spiritual symbolism it carries. Its black and white drapery, its ancient stones, and the calligraphic inscriptions that adorn its surface all serve as reminders of the infinite mercy of Allah. One of the verses commonly associated with the Kaaba is, "That home of security, which we blessed for the worlds." Quran 396. This verse emphasizes that the Kaaba is more than just a building. It is a sanctuary blessed by Allah, a place where His mercy is manifest and His guidance is ever present. Such words are etched not only in the sacred texts, but also in the hearts of the faithful, who see in the Kaaba the embodiment of hope and the promise of divine care. The story of the Holy Kaaba is also a tale of human responsibility and communal duty. From the earliest days of Islam, the care of the Kaaba was a shared obligation, a trust bestowed upon the believers to ensure that the sanctity of this holy site was preserved for all time. The custodians of the Kaaba, whether they were the early tribes of Quraysh or the appointed officials of modern-day Saudi Arabia, have always understood that they were the guardians of a divine legacy. Their dedication to maintaining the purity of the Kaaba reflects a deep understanding of its spiritual significance, a recognition that the Kaaba is a living symbol of Allah's unending mercy, and a reminder of the sacred bond between the Creator and His creation. The Kaaba's influence extends far beyond the borders of Mecca. Its story has been a source of inspiration for countless individuals who have sought to understand the mysteries of faith and the beauty of divine guidance. In every corner of the Islamic world, from the bustling markets of Cairo to the tranquil villages of Indonesia, the Kaaba is revered as a symbol of unity and spiritual strength. Its image is reproduced in art, its story recited in poetry, and its legacy celebrated in the hearts of believers everywhere. The Kaaba serves as a focal point for the global Muslim community, a reminder that despite the diversity of cultures and languages, all are united by their shared devotion to Allah and the timeless story of His mercy. For many, the experience of standing before the Kaaba is a turning point in their spiritual journey, a moment when the burdens of the past are lifted and the promise of a new beginning is embraced. In that sacred space, the noise of the world fades away, replaced by the gentle rhythm of prayers and the soft murmur of hearts in communion with the divine. It is a moment of clarity and humility when the soul is reminded of its dependence on Allah and the boundless nature of His compassion. The Kaaba, in its majestic simplicity, becomes a mirror reflecting the inner light of every believer, a light that, no matter how dimmed by the trials of life, is always rekindled by the remembrance of the Almighty. The enduring relevance of the Kaaba is also found in the lessons it teaches about the nature of faith and the importance of unity. The very structure of the Kaaba, with its unyielding solidity and timeless design, is a metaphor for the steadfastness required of believers. Just as the Kaaba has withstood the ravages of time, so too must the faith of those who worship at its feet remain resilient in the face of adversity. The journey of life with its ups and downs is mirrored in the history of the Kaaba, a history marked by moments of despair and renewal, of loss and hope. This story encourages believers to persevere, to remain steadfast in their trust in Allah, and to understand that every hardship is accompanied by the promise of divine relief. As the sun sets over the ancient city of Mecca, casting long shadows across the courtyard of the Masjid al-Haram, the Kaaba stands illuminated by a soft, celestial glow. In that quiet moment, The history of the Kaaba is felt in every stone, every whisper of the wind that carries the prayers of millions. It is a reminder that while the world may change and empires may rise and fall, the sacred bond between Allah and His creation remains eternal. The Kaaba is a beacon of hope in a tumultuous world, a symbol of the enduring power of faith, and a testament to the infinite mercy of the Creator. In the teachings of Islam, the Kaaba is more than just an architectural marvel. It is the heart of a spiritual tradition that has shaped the lives of billions over the centuries. The Quran and the Hadith serve as constant reminders of its importance. Verses like, "And mention when we designated the house, the Kaaba, as a place of return for the people and a place of security," Quran 2:125, are recited with deep reverence, each word resonating with the promise of divine protection and eternal guidance. Similarly, the words of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who declared, "The Kaaba is the first house built for mankind," Sahih Bukhari, reinforce the belief that the Kaaba is the foundation upon which the entire structure of Islamic faith is built. This timeless message continues to be echoed in the hearts of every pilgrim who journeys to Mecca, seeking to renew their bond with Allah and to find solace in the presence of the sacred Kaaba. The rituals performed during Hajj are a celebration of that unbroken chain of faith, a chain that began with Ibrahim and Ismail and has been passed down through countless generations. Each circumambulation around the Kaaba is an act of devotion, a physical manifestation of the spiritual journey that every believer undertakes in search of truth, guidance, and divine love. The story of the Holy Kaaba is a story of hope and redemption, of sacrifice and eternal mercy. It is a narrative that reminds us that even in the harshest of landscapes, where the desert winds may howl and the sun beats down with unrelenting force, there is a sanctuary of peace, a place where the human spirit can find refuge and the heart can be filled with the light of divine truth. The Kaaba stands as a powerful testament to the idea that no matter how isolated or desolate a place may seem, the blessings of Allah can transform it into a haven of hope and renewal. In reflecting on the history of the Kaaba, one cannot help but be moved by the incredible journey that has brought it from the humble hands of a prophet and his son to the center of a global faith. The sacred stones, carefully placed by Ibrahim and Ismail, have borne witness to the prayers, tears, and unwavering devotion of countless generations. They have absorbed the hopes and dreams of every pilgrim who has stood before them. Their silent testimony a reminder that the divine is always near, waiting to guide and comfort those who seek Him. Even in modern times, as the world continues to evolve at a rapid pace, the Kaaba remains a constant, an eternal symbol of the unchanging nature of Allah's mercy. Its presence in the heart of Mecca is a beacon that calls out to the faithful, inviting them to return to their spiritual roots, to remember the sacrifices of the past, and to embrace the promise of a future filled with divine guidance. The Kaaba is a living relic of a sacred history, a history that is as much a part of the modern world as it is of ancient times, a reminder that true faith is timeless and transcends all boundaries of culture, language, and geography. For those who have had the privilege of witnessing the Kaaba firsthand, the experience is nothing short of transformative. It is a moment when time seems to stand still, when the weight of the world is lifted, and the heart is filled with a profound sense of peace. In that sacred space, every believer is reminded of the eternal connection between the Creator and His creation, a connection that is symbolized by the very stones of the Kaaba. The memory of Ibrahim and Ismail, their sacrifice and their unwavering trust in Allah, is etched into the fabric of the holy sanctuary, a legacy that continues to inspire and guide millions. In the gentle hum of prayers and the soft murmur of supplications that fill the air around the Kaaba, one can almost hear the echoes of the past. A past filled with moments of divine intervention, of miraculous signs, and of a love so deep that it transcends the limitations of time. These echoes are a source of strength and comfort for the faithful, a reminder that no matter how difficult the journey may be, Allah's mercy is always at hand, ready to guide, protect, and nurture those who seek Him with a sincere heart. The story of the Holy Kaaba is, at its core, a story about the human spirit, the spirit of resilience, hope, and unwavering faith. It teaches us that true devotion is not measured by the grandeur of one's surroundings, but by the purity of one's heart and the strength of one's conviction. The Kaaba, with its simple yet majestic form, stands as a beacon of that truth. A truth that has inspired countless generations to strive for a life of sincerity, humility, and compassion. As we look back over the long and winding journey of the Kaaba, from its inception in the barren desert to its current status as the heart of a global community, we are reminded that every step taken on that sacred path was a step toward a deeper understanding of the divine. The lessons learned from the story of the Kaaba are timeless, offering guidance on how to navigate the challenges of life with grace and how to embrace the beauty of a life lived in devotion to Allah. It is a story that continues to resonate in the hearts of believers, inviting them to reflect on their own journeys, to find strength in their faith, and to carry forward the legacy of those who came before. In every verse of the Quran and every narration of the Hadith that mention the Kaaba, there is an underlying message of hope, unity, and divine compassion. These sacred texts serve as both a historical record and a source of spiritual nourishment, reminding us that the Kaaba is not merely a relic of the past, but a living symbol of the divine promise. Verses such as, "Indeed, the first house of worship established for mankind was that at Mecca, blessed and a guidance for the worlds," Quran 396, affirm the everlasting significance of the Kaaba, while the words of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, continue to inspire and uplift the faithful. The legacy of the Holy Kaaba is one that transcends time and space, touching the hearts of millions and reminding us that no matter where we come from or what challenges we face, we are all united by a common thread of faith. The sacred structure in Mecca is a reminder that Allah's mercy is limitless, that His love is boundless, and that His guidance is available to all who seek it with sincerity and humility. It is a legacy that calls us to reflect on our own lives, to strive for a deeper connection with the divine, and to recognize that every trial we encounter carries with it the potential for transformation and renewal. In the end, the story of the Holy Kaaba is more than just an account of ancient history. It is a living narrative that continues to shape the lives of billions. It is a story of faith that began with the simple act of building a house of worship, a story of divine intervention that has withstood the test of time, and a story of hope that inspires every believer to look toward a future filled with promise and grace. The Kaaba stands as a monument to the enduring power of faith, a faith that, no matter how many challenges arise, remains a steadfast source of strength, guidance, and eternal love. As the call to prayer echoes across the city of Mecca and the faithful turn their faces toward the Kaaba, they are reminded that they are part of a story that is as old as time and as enduring as the stars. They remember the sacrifices of Ibrahim and Ismail, the prayers of countless generations, and the miraculous interventions that have made the Kaaba a beacon of hope in a turbulent world. In that sacred moment, every heart beats in unison. Every soul finds solace in the divine promise, and the eternal legacy of the Holy Kaaba continues to shine brightly for all who believe. This story, told through the verses of the Quran and the cherished narrations of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, calls upon every believer to embrace the lessons of humility, sacrifice, and unwavering trust in Allah. It is a narrative that invites us to look beyond the physical form of the Kaaba and to recognize in it the reflection of a divine love that is ever present, guiding us through the darkness and lighting our way toward eternal salvation. In every stone, every prayer, and every beat of the faithful heart, the story of the Holy Kaaba is written, a story of love, unity, and the everlasting mercy of the Creator. For those who seek meaning in a chaotic world, the Kaaba offers a path of clarity and a reminder that even in the most desolate places, there exists a sanctuary of hope and divine grace. Its history is not just a record of human endeavor, but a testimony to the boundless generosity of Allah, who, in His infinite wisdom, has provided humanity with a symbol of everlasting unity and spiritual refuge. The Holy Kaaba, in all its simplicity and majesty, calls out to the soul, urging it to remember that the divine is always near, waiting to embrace those who turn to Him with a sincere and open heart. In this way, the story of the Holy Kaaba is a story for all time, a story that continues to inspire, to teach, and to transform the lives of all who come into contact with its sacred presence. It is a story of divine love and human resilience, a story that reminds us that every act of faith, no matter how small, contributes to an eternal legacy that binds us together as one community under the watchful care of Allah. As long as the Kaaba stands in the heart of Mecca, its story will be told and retold, its lessons passed down from generation to generation, and its light shining brightly as a testament to the enduring power of faith, hope, and the unyielding mercy of the Creator. In reflecting on this magnificent legacy, one cannot help but feel a deep sense of gratitude and awe. The Holy Kaaba is not only a physical structure of stone and cloth, it is a symbol of the spiritual journey of every believer, a reminder that the path to divine truth is paved with acts of devotion, sacrifice, and an unwavering commitment to living in the light of Allah's mercy. It stands as a silent witness to the beauty of true faith, a beacon of hope that invites every heart to seek out the divine, to trust in His promise, and to find in His eternal love the strength to overcome the challenges of life. Thus, the story of the Holy Kaaba, from its humble beginnings in the desert to its current role as the heart of the Islamic world, is a story of timeless inspiration, a narrative that continues to guide, to uplift, and to unite millions of believers around the globe. It is a testament to the unchanging nature of divine truth and the enduring power of faith, a story that reminds us that no matter how great the obstacles we face, the love of Allah is ever present, always ready to embrace us, heal us, and guide us toward a future filled with hope and endless possibilities. May the legacy of the Holy Kaaba continue to inspire all who seek its light, and may every pilgrim who stands before it find in its silent majesty the courage to embark on their own journey of faith. May every heart be filled with the profound truth that, as Allah has promised, whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Quran 65:3. And as long as the Kaaba endures, so too will the eternal promise of divine mercy and love, a promise that unites all of humanity in the shared pursuit of truth, compassion, and everlasting peace. In the quiet moments of reflection, as the cool desert night envelops the sacred city of Mecca and the stars shine down upon the ancient Kaaba, one is reminded of the infinite nature of Allah's blessings. The Holy Kaaba is more than a relic of a bygone era. It is the beating heart of a timeless faith, a living symbol of the hope that sustains every soul in its quest for meaning and connection with the divine. It calls upon every believer to remember that, no matter where life's journey may lead, the light of Allah's mercy is never far away, guiding us home to a sanctuary of love, unity, and eternal grace. This is the story of the Holy Kaaba, a story of divine beginnings, of human dedication, and of a legacy that continues to shine as a beacon of hope and guidance for all who seek the truth. It is a narrative that invites each one of us to look within, to rediscover the strength of our faith, and to embrace the promise that, in the presence of the divine, every heart can find solace, every life can be renewed, and every journey can lead to the eternal embrace of Allah's boundless mercy.